All right, so I'm going to get on with this. So if I go too long, you get too hungry, just wave your hand. This is very important. This by popular demand. I wasn't even going to do this, but there were some people who wanted me to be done, mainly the Russians. Somehow it got around that I had this particular technology, and most free zoners have never even heard about it. I've been doing it with non-Scientologists for 20 years, conventions, and it's how to find your purpose in life. There's a lot of people who, of course, are wondering. Purpose, definition, means the intention or direction one is heading for. Do we all agree on that definition? Very good. Goal definition, the definition of goal. Final outcome, or win in what one wants to have. That's a good definition for a goal, then. And the word life. I'm defining these because I'm going to talk to you how to do this. I'm going to give you an outline. Okay, life. The force or power that emanates portions of the physical universe. In other words, if this pin started to dance on its own, you would say, it's come alive. Okay? Right? Now, I'm emanating this body over here. Okay?
Animating or emanating?
Emanating. Emanates. A-N-I-M-A-T-E. Am I pronouncing that right?
No, now you did. First time.
Animate.
All right, I had 2 hours sleep. Okay. Shut up.
We know what you mean.
Cognitive processing, or counseling. Cognitive processing. You ever heard that term, cognitive processing? Cognitive.
Cognitive. What is that?
I'll try to enunciate for you. It's when a person, through some technique, comes to realize or has expansion of his awareness about some aspect of their life. In other words, an increase. Okay, this is what you do actually in processing. The guy it gets a cognition, we call it, right? All right. Okay. Those are the basic definitions here that we have to work with. How do you find purpose in life? We defined it life, and someone once told me that what we see here, what is all around us, is an illusion. And I said, well, let me hit you with a 2x4. All of a sudden it becomes really real, doesn't it? No, the physical universe is here. It's real. Those of you who have been in car crashes or someone hitting you with a 2x4 know how real it is. Let me read here the definition of reality. Anybody ever read that? Reality from LRH?
Reality is what you see when you switch off the screen.
Can't find it.
The axiom is the agreed upon appearancy of existence. Is that what you're looking for?
Oh, reality is here on earth. Agreement as to what is. Okay, so it's here on earth. It's like we all agree to meet here and we're here. We all agree this is going to be convention, so we're doing convention stuff, right? Right? But it's here. We'll move on. I can see that's a debatable fact on some of you. I really like triangles, so I'm going to create a triangle for you and how I found how to find life's purposes in people. Because I've been a counselor for over 40 years. I have to do this, right?
Bigger pen.
I'll read it to you. Okay. So at the top of the triangle, you have awareness, animation, motivation equals a life purpose. If you find these three in your PC, you can figure out what his life purpose is. What really motivates him? What gets him up in the morning? Oh, where is he? Or she? The awareness is going to dictate these two things. Okay. There's other factors which I'll get into. But I'm trying to be getting it down with certain things. Anyway, you have awareness, animation, motivation equals life purpose. Okay. So if you look at yourself, okay, what is my life purpose? Am I really on my life purpose? Do I want to be an auditor? Do I want to be a PC? Do I want to be a real estate guy? Do I want to go out and make a lot of money? So what am I going to do here? If you find these three factors, this one pops up. If that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to give you some more tools here. Okay, a lot of times before you counsel anybody on this stuff, you have to it helps to get rid of what do you call it? Yeah, you got to do some word clearing, but you also have to get rid of some of these words or ideas, the false purpose clearing they may have, okay? So we do it this way. Because a person might say, well, my life purpose is to know God or something like this. Or my life purpose is to whatever. So this is the way we do it. Any questions on this? You guys got this? Okay. This is one of the first belief systems you're going to run into out there. Of course, the Christian in America, the Christian belief system, where he tries to find his purpose, and you have to get rid of it. The belief system is this: God came down, and He created Earth, and Adam and Eve. And then He got mad at Adam and Eve because they decided to be self-determined. And of course, He made Eve the goat, right? Because she, had to eat the apple or whatever. And then so he got upset, and then he went back to heaven. So you got to pray to God, through your minister, communicate to God, because He's back in heaven. He's not here. A lot of them claim the other guy He made, the devil, was here. So. Okay, now there's the evolutionary belief that matter, energy, space, and time, seal ammonia, little bug came out, kind of crawled out of the sea, climbed a tree, fell down as a monkey, and then eventually stood on two legs and became human. So mess created humans, right? And the humans created God. Now, you might think you're talking, you might think your PC comes in for sessions, oh yeah, I got some oddity and I tested clear. He still has a lot of this belief system. Or she. Done consciously or unconsciously. So you got to get him or her to look at it, because it's going to block that person from really seeing his real purpose in life. Okay. You want to see the Scientological belief?
Yes.
It's more. Okay, there's one more. The Eastern belief systems, right? Buddhism, Shantoism, is there some sort of sea of, they don't call it theta, but they call it chi or something, or some sort of ether or something. The New Agers call it ether. And that somehow comes into the mesh universe, because the mesh universe is way down here. And you get a dichotomy of God and goddesses. Right, oops. The dichotomy breaks up into good and bad, right? God and goddesses. And then you got demi, or smaller gods and goddesses here. And then you got like big spiritual beings here. And then finally you get the human who's de-evolved, and he's a little spirit here. Or you get worse. You know. Okay, that's pretty much in a nutshell Eastern religion. I studied 3 or 4 of these things and been to Japan. Okay, that's another belief system you might run into. Okay. I'll show you what a lot of Scientologists do. I'm not trying to talk you into any of this stuff. You have your own belief system that you got to clear up. Okay, Scientologists feel that somehow if you get up the bridge, they start talking in these terms, that in the middle is the mesh universe, and all these Satans around here created it. Am I wrong about this?
No.
Some people believe this. Some people believe that. Maybe your reality. Waiting for the shoe to drop, aren't you? Speak louder. What's that?
Could you please repeat the last, what you said, we missed it?
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Scientologists believe that they had something to do with creating the physical universe. These are Thetans. And they're inputting. We all have our own reality on this. So I'll tell you mine. You want to hear mine?
Sure.
This mess universe was here long before I got here. And I really don't know who created it. Maybe it was you guys. We had an implanter here confessed up yesterday. We helped trap people into this universe. Right?
How do you know you didn't create that?
Because it was here when I arrived.
Oh, okay. That's what you don't say.
Me as a being, as a Thetan. He was here when I arrived. The game was going on when I arrived. But I'm not saying that I have not been able to influence the mesh universe. Because there's one thing Elder says, he says the spirit of play, the mesh universe surrenders to it.
Yes.
I remember I just finished training somebody on OT3, and I said, you gotta do some sessions before you go home. I gotta make sure you're doing this right. And he says, oh yeah, but my sessions, I get up early and want to do the sessions at 6 in the morning. And I said, I'm not gonna get up that early. Forget it. You're paying me, but not that much. I like to sleep in. So I said, okay, you need a key, because I don't want to give you my key. I only got one key in my office. So I said, you need a key. So we're walking down the office, and there's lots of office rooms, right? And it's like 11 o'clock at night. And we'll open the door, and I'm thinking, this key. How are we going to do this? And then I just let it go, right? We open the door. There's a key down there. Pick it up. Kind of looks like my key. Try the door. It opens it. I said, there's your key. Somebody manifested a key. Got it? So the physical universe does surrender to spirit of play. And it does, I can tell you lots of stories like that where the physical universe just gives it to you. Alright, so I'm not saying we can't influence this. I'm not saying you're not part of creating this. Maybe you were. I'm just saying, look at it, review it for yourself. Find out. Because when you find out your purpose in life. Okay, let's go on. We have methods, processing, different things to help you sort this out. Okay, let me go back. I'm being brief here, right? So another tool we have to find out our purpose in life was that we had to find out and had to differentiate. Because Supper says if you can differentiate, you're more saner, right? If you're A-galay, it's insanity, right? A-galay. So you want to be able to differentiate things. So we started looking at the Master Universe and relationship to ourselves, and we said, okay, how many dimension points are they? What is this? What are we really looking at here? And one dot is considered a dimension point, one first dimension. The second dimension is a linear. It's a line, correct? Third dimension is a three-dimensional universe, which we're in right now. This room is three-dimensional, and that's called the third dimension. Length, width. You follow me? Okay, so the next thing Hunter was saying about dimensions, he says that the, what's the fourth dimension? What's Hunter say the fourth dimension is? Time. Right. Time. And you're right, it's consideration, but it's outside of, the way we measure time is like we have to look at the sun or the clock. See? Because things move, and that's how we know time has gone on. If everything just froze, we would say time froze, right? You know, you put something in the icebox and it slows it down, because everything slows down, starts to freeze up. Okay, what is the fifth dimension? Come on, interact with me a little bit. What's the fifth dimension? I don't expect you to know it.
Musicians from the 60s.
I've seen those.
Musicians from the 60s. Well done, Paul.
It's the mind. The mind is timeless, Hunter says. It's timeless. You can start a guy auditing him on a particular engram and then go, you shouldn't do this, but go, all right, we're going to take a break. You can come back an hour, you can come back 10 years from now and pick it up again. Because the time track is timeless. If it wasn't timeless, you still wouldn't have a case. You've been creating case and it's just there until you look at it again, as is it, right? So the mind is timeless. I'm going somewhere with this. What's the next dimension? I gotta look at this twice. Well, purpose slash intention. Because if you look at the mind, it has purposes and intentions, but before you created anything in the mind as far as an engram goes, or even a picture or an idea, it has to have intention and purposes before you can create this mock-up, mental image picture. The seventh dimension is the inspiration, or the idea, to even think about putting out an intention. And the eighth is the reason, and you should find out this. The eighth is the reason for your existence. Why are you here? And that comes down to a wavelength, actually. Because every thetan has a signature, a wavelength. That's how you recognize one. That's how you can recognize somebody that you knew in a past life. You may have a different body. She may have a different body, but it's the same wavelength, the same being, right? And so this is what this is, and we get to discover that. So we're backing this up into the theta universe, aren't we? There is a ninth, and that's infinity, no limits. That's even before anything is created. So we have dimensions. Okay, so with this pattern, we can work, we can do something. We can find out this is not the tool, you know, and it comes from LRH, actually, to find that purpose that you may have or your clients may have, all right? And so we use this in the technique. I've done seminars on this with a lot of people, about this many people, and we, the first day I explained the theory, and the second day I do one-on-one. Quite exciting. Hubbard says if you really find a purpose in life, a person's real purpose, it's like waking the dead. I mean, all of a sudden he becomes really rejuvenized, because that's where all your theta is locked up in. See? Now, if you're busy being somebody else, if you're busy being a policeman and you don't really want to be a policeman, how good a policeman are you going to be? You're not going to be a good policeman, are you? Ooh. Okay.